Hey, what's going on everyone, Nick here and welcome back to the channel where I'm going to be giving my spoiler-free thoughts on the Suicide Squad, which is opening up in theaters and on HBO Max this weekend. So back in 2016, David Ayer's version of the Suicide Squad was released to very mixed reviews. Some hardcore DC fans liked it because it was a different take on the characters, while most critics panned the movie because it basically didn't come together. The script wasn't that great, there was a lot of turmoil behind the scenes, you could definitely tell there was stuff left on the cutting room floor, and sadly the movie wasn't really, that great overall. Now this time James Gunn is taking over, and he's doing somewhat of a quasi-soft reboot, which basically he's taking characters that were in the previous movie while introducing a bunch of new characters and putting his own spin on the Suicide Squad. So basically, the overall plot that we have here is that Amanda Waller assembles a new team to infiltrate the island nation of Corto Maltese to remove a violent dictator and president who took over during a coup. They also have to shut down Project Starfish, a secret science experiment happening on the island. Now, in terms of new characters this time around, we have characters like Bloodsport, played by Idris Elba, Peacemaker, played by John Cena, King Shark, voiced by Sylvester Stallone, The Thinker, played by Peter Capaldi, Ratcatcher 2, Polka Dot Man, Mongol, Blackguard, TDK, Weasel, Savant, etc. In terms of returning characters, we have Harley Quinn, Rick Flag, Captain Boomerang, and of course Amanda Waller. Now, right off the bat with this movie, you can really get the sense that this is coming from a completely different creative mind. It feels very much in line with recent James Gunn movies, especially harkening back to his Guardians of the Galaxy films. You can tell a lot of the humor and kind of team dynamics were lifted directly from those Guardians movies, but obviously played up very differently because this movie is rated R, and it's a very hard R. There's a lot of swearing in it, there's tons of violence and gore, and he really plays up to the absurdity of the DC Comics, the Suicide Squad, because a lot of the characters in this movie are very, very unknown. They're D or Z list characters that we've never really heard about. So I think that's really where Gunn is able to play up to the strengths of this, because these are characters that nobody really cares about or has known about, so he's able to kind of take them, put his own spin on them, and do whatever he really wants with them. Now, one thing that's interesting about this movie is that it really feels like a mission that the Suicide Squad would go on. The Suicide Squad is a government black ops team comprised of villains of the DC universe, and they're supposed to be going on missions like this, infiltrating a country, overthrowing a dictator, stuff like that. It's essentially a military war movie, whereas the first movie, it didn't really feel like a mission that the squad would go on. It felt very like supernatural, something the Justice League or even the Justice League Dark team would have to take down. Whereas this movie feels much more grounded, much more up to the speed of something that the Suicide Squad or Task Force X would actually go for. Now, my overall thoughts on the movie was that it was a ton of fun. It was something that I was not expecting at all, because honestly I kind of went into this movie with zero expectations. I didn't really like the trailers for the movie or the marketing, but I ended up having a really great time. I actually think this is probably my favorite James Gunn comic book movie, because I did like the first Guardians, I didn't like the second one, but this one really surpasses the first Guardians for me. It just has so much going on, so many great moments to it. I think that it's because James Gunn was able to play with that harder rating. So I highly recommend that you guys go check it out. If you can make it to the theater, definitely recommend seeing it like that, but if not, it's worth a watch for sure on HBO Max. Now, if you guys got a chance to check out the Suicide Squad, let me know what you thought of it down in the comments below, and if you are new to the channel and you like this review, subscribe and hit the bell so you can be notified whenever I drop new content. If you want to hit me up on social media to talk about this movie or anything in pop culture really, you can find me in the links down below, and with all that being said, I'll catch you guys next time.